Right now, the United States is in the middle of a monumental but largely unnoticed sell-off in the marine industry, the biggest in its history. Over 3 million boats have suddenly flooded the market, and prices have plummeted far beyond initial expectations. This upheaval shows up as a cascade of customer refunds, aggressive inventory liquidation by dealers, and dramatic price cuts. Models that once commanded $80,000 are now struggling to fetch $15,000 at auction. This is not just a market correction. It signals a profound shift in boat market dynamics that buyers and sellers need to understand to navigate the coming landscape. The marine market has effectively hit a wall, a reality the industry is reluctant to openly discuss. Roughly 3 million boats are being returned to dealers because of an explosion of refund requests nationwide. Internal dealer communications confirm this surge began in earnest late last summer, coinciding with a spike in warranty claims and canceled orders. Data from the National Marine Manufacturers Association corroborates this trend, showing refund volumes have increased by over 200% since 2023. A volume so massive it has overwhelmed factory return departments. The root cause is a swift reversal of the massive boom that started in 2020, when demand for recreational boats skyrocketed. Issues that might have been quietly resolved under warranty during the boom times have now escalated into full-blown buyback demands. Compounding this is the sharp increase in interest rates. Financing that once seemed affordable has more than doubled. Families who stretched to secure $60,000 in loans are now underwater, owing more than their vessels are worth. Dealers call it an inventory correction, but the reality on the ground is an avalanche of refunds that has overwhelmed storage facilities from the Midwest to the Gulf Coast. What was once a waiting list for new boats has morphed into a significant waiting problem for dealers trying to house returned inventory. The immediate question for the market is the ultimate destination for these millions of refunded boats. The answer is visible in overflow yards. Driving past industrial areas outside Elkhart, Indiana, the scale of the issue is physically apparent. Endless rows of unsold and refunded hulls, shrink-wrapped but already showing signs of sun exposure, stacked behind temporary fencing. Similar storage nightmares have appeared in Florida inland corridors and Gulf Coast marinas, replacing former rental fleet activity. Aerial photography reveals miles of fiberglass boats lined up like fallen dominoes. Many are just 1 to 3 years old, still bearing manufacturer decals but marked as return pending. This glut stems from multiple sources. Some boats are repossessions as banks tighten credit standards. Others are fleet downsizing by charter companies facing slower tourism, and expired rental contracts add to the total, collectively reaching the 3 million unit figure dealers quietly acknowledge off the record. Prices have reacted predictably to this oversupply. A Bayliner that sold for $65,000 in 2022 is now fighting to clear $15,000 at auction, while a Cobalt once priced near $80,000 is failing to attract bids above $20,000. This is not seasonal fluctuation. It is a highly visible liquidity crisis gripping the industry. Despite this obvious inventory saturation, production lines in several regions have not completely ceased. To grasp this paradox, we must examine the financial mechanics within the dealerships themselves, specifically how they are financing this inventory crisis. Every boat on a dealer's lot is financed through a floor plan loan, a line of credit secured by each unit, accumulating daily interest until the boat is sold or the inventory is audited by the bank. This system functions well during brisk sales, but becomes a financial time bomb when sales freeze. During the pandemic, the average floor plan rate was around 2.9%. By late 2024, this rate had surpassed 7.4%, causing carrying costs to skyrocket. Interest alone on a single $60,000 boat can now cost nearly $350 per month. When multiplied across dozens of unsold hulls, a dealership can hemorrhage tens of thousands of dollars monthly. before making a single sale. Banks are growing impatient, demanding curtailments or calling in collateral. Dealers unable to meet these payments face frozen credit or immediate repossession of their stock. The inevitable outcome is widespread liquidation. Boats are being dumped into auction lanes not for profit, but for sheer survival. Every deep discount advertisement is, in effect, a concealed debt alarm. The visible panic on dealer lots is not marketing strategy. It is a desperate fight to remain solvent for another quarter. This desperation is forcing disclosure. Leaked invoice sheets on industry forums reveal markdowns that were unthinkable just 2 years prior. For instance, one Midwest dealer slashed $35,000 off a runabout fleet overnight, following a second audit warning from its lender. Another Florida chain authorized clearance sales below the floor value to free up critical space before the spring season. This pattern typically intensifies in late winter, when northern states face peak storage costs and lenders tighten their grip before the new season. With the deepest cuts appearing in February across states like Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio, before moving south as inventory is transported. Evidence is pervasive. Auction manifests stamped no reserve, dealer portals listing one-year-old boats at prices resembling used cars more than yachts, employee accounts detailing frantic repricing sessions solely to cover interest payments. These markdowns are not generosity. They are survival mathematics, the industry's triage plan, designed to keep lenders appeased. These initial discounts are only the first wave. The next stage will reveal the underlying formula determining which models collapse first and which might genuinely survive the storm. This refund surge has initiated the fastest depreciation cycle in marine history. Manufacturers built nearly double the boats the market could absorb during the pandemic. And this oversupply, combined with mass refunds, has created an inescapable glut. Auction data shows unit values have fallen by 37% in just 8 weeks. A $60,000 runabout is now listed at $38,000 and remains unsold. Dealers report entire segments, center consoles, pontoons, and compact sailboats, depreciating faster than they can adjust prices. Each unsold hull drags down the average value, forcing deeper markdowns to chase declining figures. What appears as an opportunity from the outside is a balance sheet collapse from within. Danger, however, lurks beyond the visible discounts, particularly when the paperwork accompanying these bargains is flawed. The true financial loss can begin after the sale. Cheap does not equate to safe, and the next major issue begins with what is printed on the title. Every boat has a hull identification number stamped on its transom, which must match the title and state registration. During liquidation, many boats cross state lines, and that is where fraud often occurs. Dishonest resellers engage in title washing. Re-registered boats with damage or repossession history in states with less stringent disclosure laws to erase flood, salvage, or lien tags. On paper, the vessel appears clean, but it might still be collateral for a bank loan or officially marked as a total loss in national databases. Comparing two titles can expose the fraud, one showing a proper lien release, the other reissued elsewhere erasing the damage. The unsuspecting buyer ultimately assumes a boat still legally owned by a lender, leading to repossession without recourse when audits eventually occur. This paper trap, hidden in the fine print, is becoming common across liquidation channels. The paper fraud is just one threat. The next comes from flood-damaged boats being scrubbed clean and resold as seaworthy. When hurricanes hit the Gulf or Atlantic coasts, entire marinas can be submerged. Insurers declare total losses, pay claims, and contract salvage yards for disposal. Months later, many of these same boats reappear hundreds of miles inland, freshly detailed and listed on auction sites, with vague descriptions such as minor cosmetic work needed. While the hulls look immaculate, the truth is submerged within. Flood exposure corrodes electrical systems, hardens vital seals, and weakens composite structures. Rusted bolts and salt-stained wiring harnesses lie beneath new carpeting, waiting to fail. The evidence surfaces on boating forums where insurance photographs of the original damage are matched to the relisted boats via identical hull numbers and serial plates. Mechanics inspecting these returns report high residual moisture deep within the stringers and transoms, even after refitting. Simple inspection methods can reveal a crunch where dried and cracked wood core exists. A physical check can reveal the story the paperwork conceals, even if a buyer avoids the flood-washed fleet. Another financial hazard waits. Hidden costs that negate the illusion of a bargain. A $15,000 sticker price rarely reflects the final outlay. Beneath every auction listing are layers of fees only revealed at checkout. Buyer premiums of 8% to 10% are standard, followed by administrative and title charges. Transportation can add hundreds or thousands depending on the distance. Reconditioning and storage bills appear later, easily pushing the total past $18,200 before taxes. This is the FEE iceberg, visible too late to back out. Some auction houses impose late pickup penalties after 48 hours, further draining cash. The only defense is calculating the total landed cost, not just the sticker price, and recognizing that honest listings show fees up front, while deceptive ones bury them in fine print or hidden terms. Despite these pitfalls, a select few boats still offer genuine value. The market collapse has favored certain categories based on oversupply, simplicity, and build material. The first boats to breach the $15,000 threshold were the common runabouts that characterized the suburban boating boom. Models like the Bayliner 175, 2011 to 2014, the Cobalt 185, 2008 to 2012, and the Glastron GT 180, built before 2015, are defined by an oversupply issue as they flooded auctions from rental fleets and starter packages being returned. While they often exhibit cosmetic wear, faded gel coat, cracked seating, their engines generally remain sound. A boat. A boat tagged at $60,000 3 years ago is now selling for $12,000 to $15,000, according to data from Indiana and Florida auctions. The key for these fiberglass staples is checking for solid stringers and firm transoms to determine if the low price is worthwhile. Critical inspection. For saltwater use, attention shifts to stronger, corrosion-resistant boats. Center consoles used for near-shore fishing. The Carolina Skiff 172, Key West 189 FS, and Sea Hunt BX models are seeing similar auction averages between $14,000 and $15,000, sometimes lower if fleet paint is faded. These were overproduced by charter operators anticipating tourism that did not materialize. Structurally, they are excellent, but many need electrical system cleanup due to years of hard use. Critical inspection points include self-bailing deck drains and wiring harnesses under the helm, where corrosion hides. Their parts availability makes them durable survivors, with resale averages falling 30% in less than a season, putting dependable hulls within reach of modest budgets. Aluminum rigs. Inland, the true workhorses are the aluminum rigs built to outlast trends and resist fiberglass decay. The Tracker Grizzly 1654, Lund 1650 Rebel, and Low Roughneck 1660 now lead the under $15,000 class. Their primary advantage is simple math. Lighter hulls cut towing and fuel costs by nearly 30%, and aluminum never rots. Most came from inland leases or lodges, resulting in lower operating hours. Flaws are typically limited to cosmetic oxidation or rivet corrosion, which are easy to repair, as their welded and riveted frames withstand punishment that could split fiberglass seams. Surplus listings. They show steady demand, confirming their resilience, with used models available at half the price of new aluminum rigs, representing rare, safe ground. As recreation moved toward shorelines, pontoons and small sailboats have quietly become winners in the downturn. Models like the Sun Tracker 18, Catalina 22, and Hunter 23 are selling between $10,000 and $15,000, depending on location and condition, with the lowest prices found on Midwest lakes. Their edge is simplicity. Pontoons have few complex moving parts, and small sailboats rely on canvas and rigging rather than fuel and electronics. Auction data shows their depreciation under 15% this year, vastly better than the nearly 40% seen in sport boats. They represent durable weekend cruisers, offering stability in a chaotic market. Every market collapse follows a rhythm, and the marine sector is no exception. In the Midwest, storage costs peak in February and March, forcing dealers to cut prices early to clear yard space. Coastal markets follow later, typically May through June, as marinas prepare for the new season. Auction calendars confirm this. Listings peak in Indiana and Michigan by late February, shift east by April, and flood southern yards just before summer. The cleanest inventory appears early in this cycle, before transport trucks move excess stock south. Acting before this pre-spring liquidation offers the best chance at a sound hull. Waiting for deeper discounts often means inheriting hidden repairs. Once the timing window opens, the next step is direct inspection. A 30-minute inspection can separate a genuine survivor from a disguised problem. Check for deck flecks around hatches, which can indicate soft core. Smell the engine bay for mildew or salt, which can indicate flood exposure. Cycle all electronics and perform a quick compression test on outboards. Finally, check the trailer for rust at spring mounts or weld seams. Each free step can save thousands in repairs. When it comes to paperwork, the title and lien trapdoor must be checked. The HIN must exactly match the title and database records. Any alteration suggests a washed history. A Uniform Commercial Code search, UCC, reveals active liens, while a Coast Guard abstract exposes unpaid financing. Genuine titles should show aged paper and consistent signatures. Mismatched handwriting or missing pages are red flags. Unpaid debts follow the hull, not the owner. Cash carries more weight than loyalty in this downturn. Dealer quotes indicate discounts near 8% for immediate payment before bank audit deadlines. The best tactic is discipline. State your firm, auction-backed price, and walk away if necessary. Most sellers call back within days due to inventory pressure. This restraint is crucial because another discount wave is already forming, driven by rising costs associated with electric propulsion and new emission mandates. Waiting 3 more weeks may reveal whether prices sink further or begin to level out. Restraint equals profit. The storm has exposed weak hands in the market. Careful movement now offers a path to steady ground. The refund wave is ongoing, and the next price drop could be even more severe. Before making any transaction, understanding the reality behind the discount signs is essential to avoiding a financial wreck.